Miggity miggity mic check 1 2 1 2. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Hawaii Comedy with James Money podcast. I am the comedian James Money. It has been a while. I apologize. I've been out and about in like real world, not too much of this virtual stuff. Been out there. Maybe I should have put it out and say, hey, I'm going to podcast, but you know. Let's get back into the swing of things. I've been doing podcast episodes here and there, but now we got a new direction. We got new friends, so we're going to be moving in a I feel like a better direction. I've been telling you guys that I've been, planning on doing something different. So here we go. Let's see. Take care of the business. I'm gonna pull up. See, I'm out of practice. Before we get started, I always like to share with you guys. I know we're going through tough times right now. It's so many issues. The pandemic, gas prices, war, mental health, stress, paying bills, baby formula shortage in America. So a lot of things going on. We got a lot of issues. If you guys are out there and you're under a lot of stress and you feel like hurting yourself, please don't. You hit me up. I'm all over social media. I take calls and DMs from people who are trying to scam me. So why don't I just do that for people who actually need help? So hit me up at comedian James Money. We can chat. Just don't ask for my Cash App information. But if you feel like you're gonna hurt yourself or you want to kill yourself, please don't. Because when you do that, you basically stop the story. There's always a rebound or a comeback story that you could be part of, but once you end it, that's it. There's no more story. And maybe you feel like you're in a place where you need some professional help, and maybe I can't help you. Please call our friends at the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255 or 1-800-273-TALK. They can either help you out or point you in a direction, where you can get some help. And if those of you are doing great out there, awesome. You see somebody, say hello. See, it can start with just a smile. Hello. Don't be like creepy, but say hi, good morning. I always say good morning. Even if it's nighttime, I say good morning. It's just my thing. But sometimes somebody might be thinking about doing something to themselves, but then that hello or good morning might just be enough for them to say, maybe not today. Maybe I won't do that today. And sometimes, that's all it takes. Just move on to the next day. All right? Because we love you. All right? You guys are checking out this beautiful shirt. This is from Oahu Golf Apparel. Check out their website at oahugolfapparel.com. They make hats, t-shirts, and golf accessories and are locally produced here in Honolulu, Hawaii. They offer fun, stylish, activewear for on or off the golf course. Make Oahu Golf Apparel a part of your game. All right. I think it's time we start the show. All right, this is where I'm going to add it because I forgot to add this into the thing because I'm out of practice. Boom. Okay. And then we bring this into bang. And then put this here. Get rid of this guy. Oh, yeah. Let's start the show.
Live from the middle of the Pacific Ocean, it's Hawaii Comedy. With your host, James Money.
Island days, clear blue water, then mountain ranges and dancing daughters. I can't get enough of these island days. Won't you take me back to Honolulu? Yeah, that surf is high and I am to sing songs all night long. I live in these island days. Oh, they told me not to fall in love, but I just could not help myself. Oh, I missed my flight again. I was sleeping here with my new friend. Oh, yeah. Island days, clear blue water, and mountain ranges and beautiful daughters. Yeah. I can't get enough of these island days.
Yes, Island Days. That's by Tavana, ladies and gentlemen. Did you guys like that song? Go check out Tavana at Tavana808.com. First of all, thank you, Tavana, for letting me use your music. I love his stuff. Find out where he's performing. He's also got merch. Amazing musician. Plays a lot of instruments. He's really good live. So if you have the chance to check him out, I think he's going to be traveling to the mainland soon, but if here on Oahu or anywhere in Hawaii, if you see him, go check him out. Visit him at Tavana808.com. Sweet. All right. Thank you guys for joining me today. I know it's surprise. I'm podcasting right now, but hey, that's pretty much the good thing about having a podcast in your own house. You can start whenever's. We have a special guest today, folks. Someone who I've been learning a lot from. I guess I would call her coach because she's coaching me up on social media. Everybody calls her Dani Girl. She is representing 808 Viral. Please help me welcome Dani.
Hi.
Yes,
you hear me okay?
I almost said rabbit ears. I'm sorry. The cat ears.
Oh, at least you didn't say pig ears because we would have had a fight already. So I'm glad you said something cute.
No, I would never. I know cat because on your posts, so you have your 808 Viral posts and then you have your Dani posts. And your Dani posts is you rescuing cat or cats looking to you for rescuing, like you're their savior or something.
I don't know if that's a good thing or an embarrassing thing. They just find me. Is that a good thing? I don't know. I
think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. We have two. We have one that seeked rescue from my daughter. She seeked out my daughter and said, "Hey, I need your help." She was running away from the manager, from maintenance, and everybody. They couldn't catch her. And when she saw my daughter, she just laid there for my daughter to pick her up. So my daughter seems like a good person. So maybe it's the same for you. The cats know. They're like, oh,
no, cats
are smart.
Cats are kind of a-holes, really, and they're very picky. They're not like dogs that will just run up to anybody. So I'm flattered when they come to me because they don't just go to anybody. So
exactly, dogs are like,
with your daughter,
yeah, they picked up on something. Yeah. Dogs are like, I will sleep with anyone.
I'll lead you to the all the valuables in my home. You know what I mean? Like they greet you at the door like, here's all the silver and the gold, Cats will at least be skeptical sitting across the room, like giving stink eye, like at least they're on your side because dogs will give you up in a second.
I tell you what though, being a cat owner now, I do have to deal with a lot of claw marks on my hands. So
oh yeah. Are we sure that's what that is, James?
Yeah.
That's your excuse now?
Yes, the actual animal. It wasn't a woman. I wish it was. But
me
it's
too.
Actually a cat. Yeah. You wish it was a woman that scratched me? Thanks.
Well, yeah, I would be happy for you that there's some action happening that's not cats. Sorry.
You watch now.
I'm going to hook you up. Listen, I rescue people. This is my thing. I rescue everything. I'm one of those fixers, and I have now put it in my mind now that we're going to get you a woman that scratches you the right way.
It's going to happen in the future, and you're going to get an unusual text at 3 a.m. and it's going to be like, guess what?
It happened. It's all happening.
So I met her. She was sleeping outside on the steps of the club I just performed at. And she's a scratcher.
And she's potty trained and everything.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Wait, are you talking about a cat or a
I don't
woman?
know.
Does
Could
it
be
matter?
interchangeable at this point. Does it matter?
So, I want to say thank you. The past few, I guess, months, a couple months, that you've been coaching me up on how to build my social media following, and I am seeing growth and development. I guess with not just the interactions with new followers, or I guess I'll say fans, because as a performer, we're looking for more fans. My TikTok has gained, I think, like 400 new followers, and it's actual interaction. It's not like
Drive-by.
Kevin like Kevin 57237, and it's actual names. It's like, so,
Oh, that's nice. Real people. Yay.
yeah. But I have been getting a lot of new scams, so that's the weird part. I think that's part of it, right?
The more negative stuff that happens to you, the better you're doing.
I'm doing pretty good then.
It's going to just go all downhill from here.
And it's funny because they actually use like actual friends' names. So I don't know if they're copying my friend's name or they took over a friend's account.
Yeah, they usually duplicate accounts and then they go after everybody's friends. Yeah.
Yeah,
I have a lot of
which
fun with those. You can have
sucks.
fun with those, I have a lot of fun. Like they'll be like, "Hey Dani, I really need your help." I'm like, "Oh, nice, man. Like, did you get all that cocaine I sent you yesterday?" Like, like I'll just start talking to them and they'll just ignore what you're saying. And I'm like, "Bro, like remember that one time like we hooked up with those hookers?" And I'll just start going off on crazy stuff and they leave. They don't want to scam me anymore. So it's like a game.
I have played like with some, and when they DM me and they're like, "Hey, did you hear the good news?" I'm like, "Oh, here we go, the government grant," or,
Yeah.
"Hey, I just started working at Cash App," and it's like, "Oh, here we go." Okay, so you kind of know which angle they're going. So I try to use the other. So like when I get the "Hey, I started working for Cash App. If you give me your Cash App, we can work on yada yada." And I'm like, "Wait, but did you hear the good news?" And they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "The government is giving out these grants." It's like,
Well, hey, didn't we find out that we were related by WhatsApp because we're the same prince? We have the same prince in our family that wants to
Oh,
give
yeah,
us
that's
money,
right.
right? Somebody
Nigerian, right?
from Nigerian. Dude, you know him.
Yeah.
I knew
It's,
it. We're cousins.
Chad something like that. But yeah.
We're
It's
gonna
so
be-
weird because I start getting emails that just have names. Like it says like from Kelly, and they'll say, "Hey James," and that's it. And I'm like, "What the-" Then you check the email address, and you're like, "It's not Kelly. It's something yada
Yeah.
yada." And I'm like, "Oh, whatever." But they almost get me that way.
Yeah. They're getting better and better at it.
Yeah. Well, let's check the comedy corner. Somebody's saying hello. Hello, Aloha, Dani. Thank
Oh,
you
say
for supporting
hi.
local comedy.
You're
They say
everywhere,
Dynamite
Jose. I
is
swear to
listening.
God. Look, he just popped up. I was literally thinking about him earlier. He just like boing, boing, pops up everywhere.
That's his angle. That's how he promotes shows. He just pops
good at
up
it.
and he's like, "Oh, yeah." He's old school too. He likes that, the flyer, the banner, the poster, so and actual radio. So he's old school, but he's cool.
He's everywhere. And his little profile picture was like, he popped up like, that's exactly how I imagine him in my brain when I see him.
Boom.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So talking about what you do in our scene, so like when I first started seeing social media influencers, a lot of it was comedy, like something funny got your attention, whether it was memes, sketches, whatever, making fun of something, a video that was cut up or something. But I'm starting to see more positive stuff come out of 808 viral. Like a lot of pro strong things for the culture, the Hawaiian culture, and also local culture, which is obviously two different things, but it's very positive in trying to bring up Hawaii and local culture. Is that
I'm
the direction?
Yeah, I'm actually that I really appreciate you saying that because it's really trying to do that. There was a point where I feel like I went off the rails a little bit, especially during the pandemic. And as you know, I was for a while working for many years, worked for the government in different capacities doing digital media. And I went down kind of a rabbit hole of working kind of with the wrong people, and I got in kind of a dark place, and it kind of went out, it kind of came out in my social, and I had difficulty finding positive stuff for a while. Like it was getting really hard. And what I think the reason you're seeing that is because a lot of us are starting to get back into better places and people are starting to put out more positive stuff. It's still not easy. It's still hard to find a lot of it. Not as easy it was before, I guess, but it is coming back. Like the return of Aloha I see it coming because it started to feel a little bit dark there for a while, but yeah,
Yeah, I
definitely
just see
that's my goal.
it's like the take that the individual, the influencer has on society. So it's like I don't agree with what's happening with our government or our land or whatever it is. So I'm gonna post things and combat that or fight that and show how I don't agree with that, how I hate that. Where I see, and it's not just you, but it's a few others that say, well, let's just show the positive things and kind of like share aloha, where
Yeah.
it's like let's laugh at our culture. Let's talk about some of the good things, because not all the posts that you put out are funny. It's I don't mean it in a bad way, but they're
Thanks,
supposed.
James. What are you trying to say? Come on your show and you criticize me.
You figured me out, but it's to show like, hey, there's some things that about the Hawaiian people that isn't in the news that are good things, So it's like, here's some positive stuff. And I believe that, you don't fight fire with fire every time. Sometimes you put love or aloha out there, and I'm starting to see that with some of the posts. Aside from a lot of the funny posts that you guys are known for, a lot of the challenges and making fun of Daryl Bonilla a lot. So.
That's easy. It's so fun. Yeah, I mean, it's balanced. I think the answer is always balanced. That's what I try to get to. Like I don't always post positive things, but if we post things that are negative, what I consider, I guess, negative or not funny, it would be if there's a reason. It's because it's always been the rule that whatever we post with intention. We try to be what I call pono posting, which is like we always have a reason to post, that it's always something. We're not just posting to be divisive or to hurt people. Like there's never going to be a time where we're going to post something that it will try to intentionally hurt somebody. So you'll never see us, doing that. But it's, toxicity feeds the machine. So that's why you see media constantly going to the negative, that's how they pay their bills, because honestly that's the content that does better. And unless you can find something really, really good and uplifting, which also does well, but the reality is you can see it in our engagement if you look at some of the other pages that post more contentious or things that are kind of more far right or far left. There's comments are much more because people are more likely to get on there and engage, and which at the same time boosts that I call it ego rhythm too. I said ego rhythm.
I like that.
Algorithm. It boosts that algorithm. And so they in turn, it just cycles this more negative stuff out there for people. So I always tell people, like, if you are feeling like you're seeing so much negative stuff, stop, hold back that feeling that you got to say something on that negative post and go find something positive on a post and go there, because you're just kind of feeding that. And so what we're trying to do, 808 Viral, I feel like we're one of the few people that's around, but we're trying to strike a balance so we can, there's some place that you can go where there's a little bit of a balance and we can offset, all of this just really toxic stuff that's out there, you know.
Yeah, because if you are what you think and do all the time, so when you put out negativity, then you're basically, and the way it sounds kind of hippie, but the way I actually do, I am a comedian. I do talk a lot of trash. I do talk shit and whatnot. I make fun of things, but the stuff that you put out into the universe, I feel goes out forever, just like
And it comes
space
back.
and time. Yeah, so it's you're adding to you're adding negativity to the everything, but if you put out that positivity, it maybe chips away at what the negative things that are out there. I've always taught my daughter like, oh, if you think positive, you're not gonna. It's not gonna be like you're gonna win everything or you're gonna gain everything, but you put yourself in a position to what do you call it? Accept or value the things that you get. Where you're like, oh, it's you're not always like, oh, I should have gotten. You're not cocky or anything like that. You
Hmm.
can, oh, I appreciate this. I appreciate it. And then people will like you better because you're a humble or person.
I like the quote is that you are the content you consume. That's really, a good point to make, because and you are the story that you tell. Like you're putting things out there. It's coming back to you. It always does. And yeah, I think about that a lot. Like, and I also feel that, again, like when we've talked about this a lot, about the mental health
Mm-hmm.
aspect of what's happening right now is off the charts. It's at a level that nobody understands. I don't think it's really come out the full effect of how bad social media is affecting people. And it's weird because I'm saying that as somebody who's in this business. I have to take breaks, and I still haven't even found that balance yet. I'm working on that, but and part of that had to be that I had to stop looking at things that were upsetting to me. I had to curate my feed better, and one of the things, like you were talking about your daughter, and in general, like I always say this, like if you put yourself out there in a way that's authentic, and whether people you're always going to be the villain in somebody's story, and you're always going to annoy somebody, and we're always going to whatever, but you'll attract the people that are meant to be in your hui. You know what I mean? Like like we do. And it's really funny that social media is a great like equalizer in that way. And if you can get past worrying about what everybody else is doing or thinking, and not letting that get to you, and just realize like, hey, this is me, and I may have like 500 followers, but they're real and they're engaged and they like me. And that's much better than anything else you could, be doing, that other people are doing, that is really, really unhealthy, because social media is really, it is like a drug. It's a vice, just like we have gambling. Or if you're like, for me, I overcame drug addiction. I can honestly say that the stuff that social media is giving to people is very similar, very, very similar. um
Yeah,
yeah.
what you're saying about like having your own, I guess like so, the thing that you taught me as far as coaching me in social media was where I'm looking at, I'm like, I want the 100,000 mark, and but you're saying, well, look at what you have now, and the you actually have quality instead of like a whole bunch of people that you don't know that are following you, and another influencer, Hawaii influencer, told me the same thing. He's saying, yeah, but look at your interaction. You actually have real conversation in your comments. You're talking to people that, that know you and actually are fans of yours, or he just gets likes and views, and maybe just a handful of comments of just like a shaka or a laughing emoji or something. It's not a genuine, conversation. I was like, yeah, I guess you always looking over the fence, the other person's grass is greener thing, and
Yeah, and that's the trap, right? Like, and I told you, exactly, I tell this a lot in I teach. I teach for the YWCA. There's a really great programs there for those who don't know. If you're a small business, and there's Enterprising Women of Color program, which supports not just women, men too, even though it says women. But and I teach I do a lot of coaching for these businesses, and the consistent like thing that people keep saying is, I feel like I can't catch up. I can't do what these people are doing. Everybody seems to be viral. And and this is the big secret. 55% of what you're seeing isn't real. Like, and that's the thing that like it once you see it, like I see it all the time. And I work for brands all the time where we have to kind of sniff out fake influencers, sniff out fake engagement because and the common thing I'm seeing is like, oh my God, this is like so much worse than I ever thought. And it's a rabbit hole. Like most people are buying, I mean, there's a difference between artificially inflating your numbers a little bit because you want it to look a little bit more popular than actually curating an entire fake existence online. And I'm going to give you an example. Kylie Jenner is the number one fake. It's crazy. She's got 45% of her stuff is fake. So if you look at her engagement, if you actually do the numbers for her following and her engagement, and you compare that to someone like yourself, your engagement is probably higher for the percentage, like the numbers work out more in your favor than they do in hers. So it's, like brands are starting to get more wise to this now, and they're starting to realize that micro influencers and nano influencers are way more powerful than some of these bigger, influencers because they're looking for the real ones with the real engagement. And I'm shocked, like in our community right now in Hawaii, like you'd be so surprised. We have people out there creating entire bot farms that look like local followers. So you wouldn't even know when you're looking at the followers. You're like, oh, this guy's from Nanakuli, this guy's from whatever, but they're all fake. Like they're all bots. And I'm like tripping. I'm like, oh my God, they're going down. So don't let that make you ever feel bad about yourself because like and by the way, also the other secret is you're only seeing their success. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times people tried, like people are like, oh, how did you grow your YouTube channel so big? Well, that wasn't my first thing, or 808 Viral even wasn't my first thing. I did a couple of things before that, or I have other things that maybe didn't do as well. And so now you see this, and I also started a long time ago. It took time to get to where I was at. So I don't feel like you have to be like, you're an overnight success. The other thing is, this is the third thing I always tell people not to feel bad. They always say like, well, I see people looked at all my videos, but only so many liked or followed after I had this like big success. People don't like and follow as much. We have videos out just last week. We had a video. It was like, I don't know, 700,000. If all those people that actually liked our page, we'd have over 1 million followers right now. So you know what I mean? Like we only got like 80 followers from that. It isn't, and it was great content. It's not because you aren't worthy, you aren't good. It's how it is. Like it's just people don't follow as much or like as much, and you'll see that people are watching but maybe not interacting as much. But that's not a reflection of you. So that's the trap everybody I think falls in, and then they freeze, right? And then nobody wants to try. Because they feel like there's just so much fake stuff out there, or there's so much that they're failing somehow, and you're not failing. You're already winning if you're real. You know what I mean? You're right off the bat. Like so, people are
one of the things that you pointed out. One of the things that you pointed out for me to look into, which was about having real followers and not worrying about having so many followers. Which will eventually grow as your stuff starts getting seen by more people, which is what I'm seeing at TikTok. It's a slow growth, but it is happening. But part of it is that people think, oh, every video has to hit. In actuality, it's just maybe 1 out of 10 videos goes viral, and then then some people expect, oh, after that all of them will go viral, which is, for what I'm learning, is not true. It's pretty random which one jumps up and gets the big numbers and which ones that, because there's some videos I made, I'm like, oh, this is hilarious, this is the one, and then it's like, what happened? This is it. Flop. Yeah, and this is hilarious. It has everything. It has a puppy in it. It has
an old lady.
I gave a homeless guy money. This should be the one, and it was funny. And it's like nothing. I'm like, and then I post something where, I'm eating a banana, and then boom, blows up. I'm like, what?
You accidentally turned your camera on, and then you turned it off, and that thing like blew up. TikTok is weird like that. TikTok gives you what I call pity viral videos, because like you'll get on TikTok and suddenly you'll just get this big one, and then it pretty much like F you the rest of the time. Like, there you go, threw you a bone. Like now you're addicted. You're gonna stay here forever. But with TikTok,
I mean, you're right. I think you're right.
No, it's true. And what happens is also, I tell people with TikTok, like what you don't know is there's strategy going on behind a lot of these people. They have people start usually 4, 5, 6 TikTok accounts and they'll post like crazy until one of the algorithm favors one of those TikTok accounts and then they'll just start using that one. Like and because the algorithm is weird and sometimes it just hates your TikTok account. Like I've noticed that with TikTok. Once it doesn't like your account, like it's kind of hard to recover. And I've several times, for clients had to start new TikTok accounts and try different, and then one would finally do well, and then we just delete the other ones, because it was like they hate. I don't know what's going on here, Yeah.
I'm gonna tell Jose. I'm saying Jose. So Jose has comedy U. He should also have comedy V, comedy W, comedy X, Y, and Z, and see which one blows up. Let's go to the comedy corner real quick.
Comedy
Mark
XXX.
Dushinson, yeah, it says interesting time to be a comedian. I bet it. Yeah, there's a lot of content out there. I mean, we can have a whole episode on Amber Heard and Johnny Depp.
Oh God, I could talk about that all day. But you know what's funny? Oh, the Island Boys. Oh,
Yeah, Jose is asking, what did you think about the Island Boys?
I had to withstand so hard. I finally shared something, but I found no, because like everybody was sharing, and this is one of those examples of like everyone was like, "Danny, did you see this? Share the," and I'm like, "Oh, I want to try," and I had to find the thing that was positive, which was I found the guy like in a bus because you were a bus driver. Did you see the video we posted where he's in a bus and the bus driver's like, and he's going Island Boy, and the real Island Boy in the bus driver's seats all throwing shakas. So I shared that. I'm like, here's the real Island Boy. This guy's the MVP. He had to put up with these clowns for like a week or no, 48 hours because they got ran out of town. Like,
Yeah.
but the Island Boys is a classic example. I mean, there's a lot going on behind there that you don't realize too. You know what I mean? And like, this is all. Here's my take on all of this. Like, everybody wants. They're feeling pressure to be like the Island Boy. To the new trend is if you could withstand all the hate, you're going to get all this attention, and it works, right? We saw it with Bad Baby. Bad Baby turned her into a whole career. It turns out her music actually wasn't terrible. But she turned something really she was a toxic person that turned into an entire career, and we've seen this a lot. However, because it's so new, we don't know these people are going to become like the Gary Colemans at some point, right? Like 1 minute they were famous, and then suddenly they were the has-beens, And the other thing I'm seeing too, and this is just my opinion, well, we'll see how it goes, but people often think that they have to do all this stuff and they got to cheat the system and they got to do all that stuff. But the thing is, if you're doing that and you're making money doing that, that's all going to come out eventually because the brands are already getting smarter. They've got software to kind of track some of this out. The people that are going to win in the end are the ones that did it right. Because I feel like the platforms are getting smarter. The people are getting smarter. And you don't want to be that one that was like, hey, everybody else was doing it right, and you were faking it the whole time, and you were charging people for fake engagement, which is basically stealing, and you can get sued. I mean, brand can come back and sue the crap out of you. So, I mean, and your comment before about being interesting time in comedy, I think this has been right since social media started because I tell people all the time that I've worked with in the past, don't call yourself a comedian if you're just on social media because there's a huge difference between comedians and what your entertainment that you're doing on social media because you have no idea what comedians had to go through to put on a show or actors and all of these guys. Daryl's a great example. He auditions and does plays. All these people that are in my group now, they audition. This stuff goes on for months. They do plays. They prepare. It's months. And then they get in front of an audience that's maybe like 500 people, as compared to like social media. But look at the amount of work they had to do and the connection they're making with those people. It's just so different. And social media people have, like the influencers, have no clue what that's like. They don't know what call times are. They don't know what auditioning is. They don't know the preparation that was involved. So when they call themselves a comedian, I'm like, I don't think. No, you're funny. You're really funny. You're very talented. But I would save the comedian term for the guys that can get on a stage. And you and I talked about this too. Not everybody on social media can get on stage. Like social media comedians are funny, but they can't.
This is a conversation that I've had with a lot of stand-up comedians. Paul Ogata, in fact, we were in the green room after a show, and a comedian influencer comes in and talks to Andy Bumatai about being a comedian. Andy asks, "Oh, where do you work out of?" And then the person said, "Oh, Instagram." And Andy said, "No, what club do you work out of?" And then he said, "Oh, we do our stuff on Instagram," which does sketches and stuff. And he's a funny person. And then me and Paula got there on the side, and we had to catch ourselves thinking, similar to what you're saying. And I, in heart, I agree. But then when we broke it down, we say, okay, wait, we're stand-up comedians. We're being a little bit stuck up to, where the umbrella of comedians make people laugh, so like Will Ferrell doesn't do stand-up comedy, but he's a comedic actor. So we kind of had to okay, let's dial it back a little bit, because and now there are other influencers that have taken the stage. They've sold out clubs like King Batch, Trevor, is it Wallace? So they're selling out clubs.
Timur is an example, even, right? Timur, did he get popular?
No, he was a stand-up first.
Oh, he was? Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, he's actually a great example of how he went from stand-up to being able to resonate on social media, because that backwards thing doesn't work for everyone either. Andy Bumatai is a great example of somebody, traditional comedian, who took digital media and harnessed it in a really awesome way. Like, he found a way to make all that work for him, whereas some comedians took a really long time because the stand-up stuff doesn't translate the same on social media, and I think a lot of traditional comedians are having trouble navigating that, and the social media entertainers could never do what you do. But again, it's balance, right? Like, really, if you guys could connect and start working together, like magic.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's happening now is we're finding out, myself, Graham Elwood, even Comedy U, us posting our stand-up is something that a lot of influencers cannot post of themselves. And a lot of the videos that do well for me is my stand-up. So I see some pages where some stand-up comedians, all it is clips of their stand-up, and then they get a ton of following. Timur posts a lot of his crowd work, so his improv kind of stand-up, and that works. That's blowing up.
What happened before, when comedians first tried to do the stand-up thing online, they tried to do where they just showed full clips, and it was far away, and they were trying to mimic like a club experience. But Timur is a great example, and even you're doing it, and everybody has figured out that, okay, we got to do bite-sized clips, we got to pick the best part, put the captions up so everybody can read along, because the captions make it funnier sometimes. With Timur, when he's doing that banter, and then you can see his his captions coming up, it makes it almost adds to the experience,
because he drew from Andrew Schultz. And Andrew Schultz was one of the maybe the biggest during the pandemic that went and took to social media and then blew up. He's huge now. And then Timur kind of went with the same formula and is blown up, the same thing, doing social media. And then so when we talk, a lot of the stuff that I do is, I got to write, I got to do this. And then, all right, fine, I'll try building a social media. Then he kind of gives me you got to do the subtitles, you got to do the captions, or else it. And then the quality of the video, and you mentioned it too, where how on my phone, what am I using to record? And it's the quality of the video matters. It's wow.
The audio and the audio and the lighting the audio is probably the more important than anything, because once your audio sucks, you really can't. I mean, you could probably throw some captions up, but the audio makes a difference. And I think that was the problem in the beginning with some comedians that were first posting their content. The quality of the videos were just so bad. But now you see everyone's adapting, and they've figured out a way to put it into bite-sized pieces that are more friendly to social media. And we shared a couple of your videos. They did really well. You picked the right clips. Yeah. The audio was good. We had the captions on there, and that's, it's really just adapting and trial and error, right? Just keep trying until you see what hits for you. Even the type of comedy that you're putting out there, what is it that people resonated with most, you know. And I told you
It
that I've
seems
looked
like
at your
when I put
page and
celebrities on.
oh yeah, that's a good one. But you know, when I look at your stuff and I just looked overall, I always tell you this, and I've told you this before, color. That's why I added, that's why I did your profile picture and I added color to the background. Because when you had a more colorful like picture or something, you seem your engagement and everything was higher. And when the times you're wearing those
Yes,
earth tones and things, and like I was like, you got to start wearing that splash of color because people will like you, they like seeing you in color.
which
So
I will start to going forward. But yes, definitely using the headshots. I guess the pictures that you sent me does make a huge difference. Even when I'm texting and it pops up, I'm like, look at me,
look at
look at
you,
me.
me with my
Well,
background.
yeah, I do have to laugh because you pointed out that it's a Kylie Jenner that she's fake. I'm like, we kind of knew she was.
Everything is fake.
Are you saying that a Kardashian Jenner is real? What? That doesn't sound right at all.
I
Well,
think
let's go
that
to
that,
the.
that whole train wreck of the stuff is all going to eventually be. We're going through this now, but I feel like a lot of this stuff is as we all like, we're elevating, we're all awakening, and we're going to get all that toxic stuff out of us, and we're all going to go back to what matters. And so people like the, you know, they're going to have to adapt. I feel like the Kardashians are going to their days are already kind of numbered in some ways. Uh, yeah, so
I
much
think like
competition.
the only thing that well, not the only thing, but one of the things that could hurt them is if they hurt an animal. You hurt a dog, your
You're
career's
done.
done.
Well,
Yeah,
they've
they're
already been, were they outed for fur already though? Like I feel like some of these people were, even Rihanna was, but they're doing okay. I guess they have to
interesting.
actually like like kill the animal that they're wearing. Maybe no, maybe that's how it is now. It has to be
Possibly.
worse than ever. like
Yeah, caught
like
red-handed. Like,
yeah, like 10 years
oh
ago you
wow.
could get
But
canceled for a fur coat. Nowadays you got to kill the animals that made the coat for you
yeah,
to get canceled for fur.
I mean, they're mad at Kim Kardashian for ruining Marilyn Monroe's dress, right?
Oh God, I know. Especially because it was fake. Did you see when she turned around? Like, girl, listen, I'm a
Yeah.
big girl, and there is not. We are. It is very common for us to have dresses that could not close. That we had to figure out a way to like cover it up because we knew that the back never closed. Like that thing was wide open. The back.
Tell me about it. I had a fitting today for. I got casted for a commercial, and I got fitted, and they asked me for my size because they're gonna, obviously their wardrobe department don't have my size, so they was like, "What are you, 3X?" I was like, "Ooh, I wish." I was like, "I'm more of a 6X." So they had to get brand new stuff for me, and I was like, "I hope it fits because different brands fit differently."
Oh, if
So I
it's from
went
China,
today
you're screwed.
yeah. So I went in today and everything fit. I was like, "Thank you, Lord. It was meant to be. I'm supposed to be in this commercial. Thank you." So let's go to the comedy corner. We got some people saying hello. Coach Kevin Chang, welcome back. Yes, I have been
I
doing
think.
episodes in the middle of the night. Christian Ulufanua, aloha, aloha to you. Jose, he's got a lot to say here. There's a lot of influencers that really expect way more than actually having to paying their dues to be able to learn the craft of doing live performances. You agree with that?
Influencers. Um, yeah, there's a lot of I you know I always told you like the term I came up with the ego rhythm that I think there's a lot of entitled influencers. I have no clue what it was like. Look, you and I are close in age. We're all in our 40s. We're seasoned. No, wait, are you in your 30s? Or
I
you
am
want
in
me to
my
say?
20s, woman.
Okay, well,
No,
I'm as your
I'm
elder.
47. I'm
Okay, so
47.
we're in the same age range, and
Generation X.
yeah, and we just like we were lucky enough to see this stuff start from the beginning. But the people I think who were born with the technology and they don't remember what traditional marketing or media was like or traditional entertainment. I came from music industry. I worked with like people all over the world, and even the music industry is so different. Like just the way that even you work shows is different. Just everything is different, and people I talked to an influencer not too long ago because I always ask if I'm working with an influencer. I ask what is it you want out of this at the end? Like, if what's your goal? What is your ultimate goal? I want to be in movies. Okay, I said, okay, so what are you doing? What why do you think that social media is going to help you? Well, I want to get to the point where people just contact me and and want me in their movie, and I don't have to audition. And I said, you realize, like, even Jason Momoa auditions, like everybody auditions, they don't just, I mean, until you get up to that, like, 10 million, $50 million movie deals, they might have you in mind for something, but you still got to audition. There's still work, and I think that's just the difference between people who have done the acting and the stand-up comedic work, and we just, you just know the work that's involved, and how much it is. And it's really weird to have people now, like, accuse you of doing things like clout chasing, because we're like, man, we've been doing this shit for years, and there was no clout involved at that time. It wasn't called content. It wasn't called going viral. Like, we've been doing this shit for a long time. Do not even try with the clout chasing stuff for us, okay? We invented this.
Don't talk to me unless you've been in a few AOL chat rooms. All right.
Yeah. If you don't have a MySpace page, we can't be friends.
Yeah. Do you know what ASL even means? So, like, in this, I've been lucky in that talking about this influencer who wanted to be in movies. I was in a show on Adult Swim where the acting wasn't really a big part of it. Bad acting was actually wanted for the part. And so I got lucky with that, and obviously they picked me because of my size and the way I look. This commercial that I'm going to be in, we haven't shot it yet. I seen the other people who were in it, and they are tiny. So I was like, I think they picked me because I'm supposed to look gigantic.
Are you the joke in the video? Like, where they're going to make everybody look really small?
I'm about to find out. So we shoot later on this week, but I guess I'll find out. But I was looking, I was like, man, so I'm 6'7". There were two women there that I swear were like maybe 5'6" and shorter. So
that's going to be interesting to shoot, because of the headroom. How are they going to shoot that? Like, you're going to be out of the frame the whole time.
They'll be walking in front of the camera. I'll be like 2 blocks behind walking. So.
Oh, you like forced perspective. You need some old school, like, 90s camera techniques of forced perspective. You know what I was thinking? Anyway, Viral, we have Momi Girl. She's tiny. I can't wait for you guys to shoot with her, because she's the tiniest. And we have a boost. We literally have a booster seat for her when we sit in challenges, because otherwise, like, it's hard to frame them, right? And I'm like realizing we're going to need a booster seat with you so that because everybody's under like 5'8".
Or I'll sit on the floor and then she's sitting on the chair. I'm like, no, we are eye to eye. I get that a lot. So going forward, talking about, wanting things because you're a big time influencer or whatever, and trying to get things. A lot of people don't, from the outside looking at it as a non-influencer, somebody who just, posts pictures of their family, goes private and whatnot, which I actually have I have a few friends that do that. They don't want, they're not there for the viral videos or to even see. They're there to be able to share their pictures of their kids, their family, maybe their vacation with their little circle. And I think those people are probably the most healthiest people mentally on social media.
It's true.
So, like, if you could talk about the mental health aspect of, because I saw myself the latter part of last year chasing on YouTube, on TikTok, chasing the likes, chasing the views, chasing the followers. Like, I need to post I started listening to all these tutorials. I need to post 3 times a day. I need to do a call of action. I need to do this. And no movement. So I'm like, you know what? Forget. I hate you, TikTok. I'm done. But here I am again and doing it differently. using some of the things that I learned from you and other influencers, and I see growth now, and I'm not forcing myself to make more videos. It's like I think this will be funny, and then getting the reaction from the people and saying, "Oh, this is why I'm doing it for these people to laugh."
Yeah, I mean, all influencers aren't creative equal, so I don't want to like bag on them too much because there's so many creative. I like to call them creators more because I think the influencer term is starting to get a little bit like there's so many influencers now and there's so many people that are creators, and it really comes down to like there's different types, and like there's the ones that, and it's what they want, right? Like what you'll see the balance part when it comes into it is people that look at it like a business and they treat themselves like the brand, and it's not about their ego. They have something they want to do, they want to accomplish it, they put all the pieces in place to make that happen, and they do it very professionally. And then you've got this other side that has fallen into that trap of chasing the views and chasing the likes, and they've lost kind of like perspective of why they were even doing it because it's becoming a form of a validation. And I get that because I went through this. Like I think I've watched enough people and their patterns over the years to see it. I watched. You can see where people go, and everybody chooses their different paths, and some kind of fall into this. Where they let it get to them and it changes them. Like, and I've seen people change like radically, like, and it's a bummer. Like people that I just really had high hopes for that just suddenly got wrapped up in something, and social media can do that to you and literally make you see bad where there's good where there's bad. They start changing the people around them, and they go off the rails, and it becomes like this toxic quest for the clout chasing. Basically they're clout chasing, and that's the toxic side, and to the point where they'll break rules, they'll hurt people to get it, and that's where I consider the dark side. But there are a lot of creators that are just truly like so talented and gifted, and they're the types that will get up a ladder and reach around to pull the people up behind them, not the ones that are or that help the people back up, not the ladder, right? Because there's so many people that want to get up that ladder and they forget all the people that helped build the stage they were on, and they just pull that ladder up after them, and don't anyone else want to help anyone else, right? So because there's so many influencers now, I just tell everybody, like, find the ones that resonate to what you want. Like, do you want to don't look at, like, here's the thing that someone told me the other day, that all the high schoolers say they just want to be influencers. They're not talking about professions anymore. They're not talking about anything else. And that's very sketchy when you're depending entirely on the platform, when you really should be looking at yourself as a brand or a business that you want to start and using social media to amplify that thing, right? So if you're looking at it from that mindset, it's, a much more balanced perspective. When I started, I was like, they call me the Imelda Marcos of social media pages, because I would just start a niche page. And before you knew it, I had all these pages and I couldn't even manage them all anymore. Because I was thinking I had to just get this big audience and I have to have all these numbers. Nowadays, I specifically post stuff just to weed out certain types of people out of my audience. Like anytime I post trans influencers, we lose people. But I feel like we lose the right people, right? Because I know that we're going to be an inclusive audience. I don't want people who are hateful on my platforms, right? So I will post things like, sometimes I'll remind people, this page is run by women, and we'll lose like 400 followers. I'm like, that's okay. We don't want any bunch of misogynistic people in our comment section, So, like, I just say find your people, because there's so many people, and just, listen to them and try to just block out all the other noise, because really everybody's going to go through that phase, and their whole goal is to learn from everything that you're doing. Like you've done, like you're pivoting. I always use the word pivot. Like you have to be able to pivot. Don't fall down that shame cycle of like, what I'm doing is not working. People don't like me. That's a common thing they say. People don't like me. People aren't resonating with me. It's not that. There's so many other things that are working against you. You just have to keep getting tougher, because the things aren't going to change, right? The people are just going to get meaner. People are going to get, and I had to develop a thick skin, because I was one of those people that kind of fell down that worrying about what everybody was thinking. And it was like exhausting. And getting COVID was one of the best things that ever happened to me, because it shut me down for like almost a month. And when I came out, I was so centered and I felt so good. And I realized it's because I was off social media and I had stopped that flow of like chaos. So when I came back into it, I did it at a more healthy pace, and it's just made a huge difference. So yeah, that's the
So
biggest like advice I could give you.
the pandemic affected everybody differently.
It
Obviously,
did.
you're like, oh, COVID's a good thing to happen. It's like,
I mean, it's weird, but
which
it's like you have to tear something down to rebuild it, right? And I think a lot of times
right.
things fell apart for people. The best thing that ever came out of the pandemic was people here on the island realizing they didn't want to work for people who were sucking them dry anymore, right? Like they were like,
Yeah.
"Hey, who knew that Hawaii was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?" There's so many snack people that are doing like genius things with food. Like I gained 30 pounds from the pandemic, not because we were sitting at home, but because people in Hawaii became geniuses with snacks, and they were sending us snacks, and they were so good. And like I swear that should be our new, I'm putting this out there. That should be our new like export. Like tourism should not be our main industry anymore. Hawaii
Yes.
snacks,
I
because the whole island, we just need a warehouse where everybody goes and they make their stuff and it just gets like fulfilled. Yep. There's a great example. The people that look, Keenan, the people behind this brand right here, Noms, look how they did such an amazing job. People found their passion. They found that they could do and be self-sufficient. A lot of my classes are filled with small independent single moms even that have left the workforce and are like making more money than they were making before by making things. It is like I mean, it's amazing. We could actually recover just from that, just by people. But I know people are having shortages with getting employees now, but it's great that everybody's
yeah.
becoming self-sufficient, right?
Yeah, I agree with the Hawaii being too dependent on tourism, and that like, and there was shucks, you're talking about. I saw it on TikTok. It's that woman. I wish it's terrible. I don't know her name, but she's in Puerto Rico. She's from Puerto Rico. She was just here, I think, last month, and getting to learn about how Hawaii's issues are, similar to
Similar.
theirs in Puerto
Yeah.
Rico. Yeah, in that these rich people buying up beachfront properties and just claiming the beach, and then because they have the same rule where you cannot keep the public from the beaches. And it's like, oh yeah, we do have. I remember commenting on one of her videos, like, oh, we got that same issue in Hawaii. There's some, I forget which island it was, but big property and just hired security to keep people out. And it's like, no, that you can't do that. It's illegal.
We have it right here on
So
Oahu, people putting up gates,
yeah,
and forgetting that we have laws that cannot prevent Hawaiians from rightfully and accessing the beach and performing their cultural rights. I mean, it's crazy. And yeah, like we get we tell Puerto Rico we've been dealing with that for years. We've had haoles like claiming these beaches for years. Like this is my little area and you're not allowed here. I mean, Jesus,
yeah. I was like, I don't think so. But yeah, so it's. I think we need to stop giving into. And I guess that's going to be a touchy situation. That might be another episode that we discuss,
hmm
where we talk about. Let me dial it back a little bit. I think we shouldn't be so dependent on tourism when technology is a huge thing, and we're the closest state to China, Japan, to
hmm
Korea. It's like, why don't we take that angle? Didn't the internet start in Hawaii? Like they call it the shucks. Like before the internet blew up, it was being used to within the islands,
you
communication
can't
within the
call like
islands.
gossip. You can't call local gossip talking story the internet, James. Is that what you mean?
No,
Like our
it's
old school
true.
coconut wireless? Like you're saying that like somebody invented the internet because they saw how we could spread gossip on a massive level on a small island.
No, it's true. I believe it is. It's Now I'm gonna ask Google. I'm like, hey, to see. She's gonna call me a liar. Uh, Too bad I don't have
We
I don't
invented
have
this.
Siri.
Big LA is what caused the internet here.
Yeah, it's. I
Auntie's been doing
promise
it
you.
for years.
See here, Hawaii's AlohaNet system becomes the first satellite connection on ARPANET, a wireless communication network developed in Hawaii, connected via satellite to an early version of the internet, April 11th, 1973.
Wow. So which
'Cause,
politician are we going to blame for screwing that up? Because we
oh,
could
you
have
know,
been
there's
like
a
we
lot.
could have been like the next like Silicon Valley, and somebody effed it up.
Yeah, that's we should be. We should have
Yeah.
been, but there was like, no. If we do the internet, then we're gonna get rid of the hula dances. We like those. Let's keep those, and they keep giving us lays and mai tais, and I guess we're gonna blame the Hiltons, the Sheratons, the
Again, politics, so which
Hyatts.
allowed it all to come. All the greedy people that sold the island out. It was yeah. But what's crazy is that honestly, it was all short-term gains, right? You always lose with the short-term gains mindset, because if they would have had the right people at the time thinking, they've been like long-term technology is gonna what's gonna help like us in the long term here. Look what happened when the
Right, let's
tourism
go.
industry crashed, right?
Right. So that's like the
God, who knew
pandemic
that was
started,
gonna
and all of a
happen?
sudden, it's like, oh, what do we do with these rental cars? You can't use these. Like, oh, God forbid you give them away to some of the locals who could use a car, maybe.
Hello,
Can
I
you
couldn't get a
imagine
car
that?
thanks to you. I'm driving a 1999 Honda CRV with no air conditioning because of you effers that bought up all these cars and rented them out.
And they were just sitting in the Lone Stadium parking lot, just sitting there. So let's go to the comedy corner. Let's see. Comedian Kevin Hobbs says, "Hey James, hi Kevin. He's a Big Island comedian, very funny guy." And NN, I'm not sure what NN stands for, but going by the picture, looks like a little
Nani Slayer,
island person.
Nani. I don't know why I thought of that. Sorry.
I know. Why is that
I
your
said Nani
go-to?
Slayer. I don't know. Because the picture, he's like got this. Just first thing that popped into my
It's
head.
good to know. It's good to know that your N word is not the bad N word, but
Oh
so
yeah.
it says
right.
we're awesome. It says it's all about fighting for our freedoms and being more sustainable. I agree, 1,000%. When the barges stop coming in, then what? Ooh, yeah, right. You're right.
I'll be honest with you, man. One thing I will say is that one thing that I think scared, and I was working at the government at the time that this was going on, during the pandemic, and I think it scared the crap out of leaders to see how resilient, like when you saw like Kanaka Costco on the Mauna, like holy crap! Look, you got to remember that you got like all the people in power have been using the local people. It's all been on the backs of the local people, and they've been the ones stocking your shelves and doing all the work. So when things fell apart, the locals were fine. It was the people with money who were like, holy shit, who's gonna do this now? Like everybody was taking care of each other, and I think that kind of freaked everybody out. I think
all the
for the
business
business stop, we'll be fine. We like, I think for the people that we connect, we know how to get by. We're not gonna be helping. We're gonna be helping all of you other ones.
Speak for yourself, Danny girl, because I am dependent on McDonald's, and that's my problem. So
Listen, I've gone through this in my
Wait.
mind. I have anxiety, so believe me, I've gone to the worst with this. I'm like, we could always eat geckos. There's lots of geckos. Like, I will find a way to make gecko poke. Like, there'll be like gecko poke, and like, I started growing fruit trees. I'm like, we'll live on my oranges. Like, we'll be fine. I got a shotgun. Like, nobody's coming in my yard. My cats will F you up if you try.
You said the mo is it mo'o, right? The mo'o poke?
Mo poke. Oh, it's awful.
Oh, here we go. And is Nisha 9.
Oh.
Cool. So technology is a double-edged sword.
True.
Yes. I mean, we talked about with social media being
Good and bad.
It can be helpful for your business, but also mental health would be tough. Let's see. Here's a good question. Do we really believe the government will be there for
No.
us?
Not right now.
I was gonna say.
Dude, listen,
That's
I've
the
worked
easy
with these
one.
guys. There's so much corruption here. We have to. The corruption is so bad. I've seen it. Listen. I'm a whistleblower. I'm in the media for this shit. Like I know, and I know what happens when you call them out on it. Our government. There's so much corruption here. We have to start protecting whistleblowers. The minute we can start protecting whistleblowers and getting these people out of office and getting these people out of power, things are going to change. But until that time, we can't trust the government.
that's the tough part is that we have, well, I guess the past 10, 15 years, the same old people in the same seat. And it's like, it's not going to change until we get those people out. I mean, we keep voting in the same people because the same people who vote are voting the same people in. We need more, and I say this, I'm a hypocrite because I don't
didn't vote,
I can't vote. I can't vote. I'm other. I'm a savage according to the federal government. I'm not a U.S. citizen. I'm what's it? U.S. national. So we have same rights as a citizen. Like Puerto Rico, Guam, Virgin Islands, they're all citizens. Except the only one place is not. It's American Samoa. Even though we have the name America or American in our name, it's like we can join military, but we can't vote. I think
you can die for your country, but you can't. You can die for your country, but you can't vote for the people who are putting you there.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But it's kind of like I'm kind of like half 1 foot in, 1 foot out, where I'm like, man, America's starting to get fucked up.
It's kind of nice to go back to. You're like, I'm Switzerland. I'm in the middle.
Yeah. It's like, I think I'm going to go back to Pango Pango. You guys sort this thing out with the baby formula.
Oh man, are you one of those people who like are all for your football team until they lose, and then you're like, I don't like them. I always like that other team. You can just change sides whenever you want.
Yeah. Go 49ers until but figure out the thing with the quarterback, and then I'll keep quiet for a little while and then come back. So
I'm gonna watch your background and see what banners you change out of there, because we'll see what happens when your team loses.
Well, this one is my daughter's college, so I'm not a
I won't even know. I don't even know.
Yeah, it's like CC. What is that? And then wait.
You've got
Spider-Man. And this is my football. High school when this was back in 1992.
See, I wouldn't even know. I have nothing about sports. So to me, all that was probably national, or who knew what it was.
Yeah. Yes. This is me playing for Puerto Rico. Just making up stuff. But yeah, great questions. Thank you guys for jumping in with the questions. Going forward with this podcast, having Dani on, we Dani put out a question on 808 Viral. There was a ton of great topics.
So random, those topics that people came up.
There's some really good ones and some really what?
Why
and
girls
the one
girls got to be skeezas? What's up with the skeezas? I was like, bro.
But me being the comedian, the one I wanted to, and we'll discuss today because I don't know too much about this. I'm going to ask you, which was feral chickens. So I'm looking at like, well, what's wrong with that? Is there something wrong with feral chickens? I mean, I hate that they are noisy, but.
You saw the video we made from that. I got so inspired to make one of these, because I live. Okay, I technically live in Kailua, although I live right on the border. So sometimes I like to claim Waimanalo because I'm like right there, because Kailua is probably a huge source of the whole feral chicken problem, because they're complaining because we have a lot of them. I like it. They don't bother me, and I understand some people don't like them, but to me, in the grand scheme of the things that are going on, and it is so absurd to me that they started focusing on. Because listen, I worked at the city, so I know how long it takes to get things through. Like how much, when you propose something and how long it takes and all the effort that it takes to get to the end. And that was the thing that people were focused on. You know what I mean? Like, oh God. I personally like, and again, we just talked about survival. We talked about what happens when the barges stop coming. Damn it, the government's going to take away our feral chickens. We had perfect food supply running around. They are taking care of themselves. They're not bothering anybody. And they would have been there for us. We could have had our own, like, Kanaka KFC. Like, it could have been, like, instead of Kentucky Fried Chicken, like Kanaka Fried Chicken. Right?
But they wouldn't, I don't think it would be fried. Wouldn't it be like huli?
Oh, there you go. We could have a whole new brand. You just invented it.
In Samoan, huli is actually fuli. F-U-L. So Kanaka Fuli Chicken.
Chihu. There you go.
This Samoan Hawaiian restaurant, Kanaka Fuli Chicken with mashed the taro would be
Taro.
poi instead of mashed potatoes.
Taro
Poi.
potato. Oh my god. Dude, my stomach just literally growled. Like that actually sounds good.
That's funny. That's how we're gonna pitch. We're gonna pitch to see if their stomach growls, and be like, "Yeah, that's it. There we go."
No, somebody make that happen. Just make sure you add us on there as like partners, and we'll help you promote it.
Yeah, we can help push it. I can do the live, stage performance, and hey, welcome to Kanaka. It's like McDowell's instead of McDonald's. So so KFC has the giant bucket. We get one Plumber's 5-gallon bucket, or is it 15-gallon bucket? Plumber's 5-gallon bucket.
So instead of like
Kanaka Fuli Chicken.
instead of there being like chicken McNuggets, it would be like chicken. What's Samoan for like small?
There is no such thing as small in Samoan.
I was just thinking that when I said it. Like you're gonna say that.
And it's not a kernel, it's an ali'i. Ali'i. The ali'i. And he's like, Hey, bro, come try it, bro. Kanaka Fuli Chicken. Poi. They can't have corn. What would it be? Oh, lomi salmon?
Lomi salmon, though, how did that get to be Hawaiian? We don't have salmon here.
So
we don't,
weird.
like nothing.
You don't have tomatoes here either.
We don't have tomato. I mean, it's just like the whole thing is an enigma. It's like, how did that happen? I mean, I love it, but how do we make that a thing?
Maybe lomi is like we didn't know that the real definition is lies. So it's like lie, salmon. We are creating our own restaurant, Kanaka Fuli Chicken.
We just invented something. And we solved the feral chicken problem. Hey, listen, instead of spending that $100,000 on the feral chickens, give it to us. We need seed money to start this thing.
Well, there you go. Who could we? Oh, Augie. We can talk to Augie. I mean, he's a comedian. He's also an influencer, so we can get him to write a bill or something. And I talked to him at the fundraiser that we were at, and he's the one who talked to. I don't know if he gets full. He's taking full credit, but he did mention talking to. And maybe he was joking. We were in comedian mode. Talking Mark, Mr. Mean into running for office. And he was saying, my goal is to get all of you guys to run for office. And I was like, oh,
Wait, all of who?
Seem like something. Us comedians, all us people in show business.
I can't, it's funny. I like, it's one of those things where nobody could do much worse than what's happening now. So at the very least, there'd be entertainment.
Nobody could do much worse. So
send
in the clowns.
Listen, send in the clowns. We need the jesters. But
I'll tell you what, though.
At least they're more with the people, because at least comedians know what, like, our people, our politicians are so out of touch. Like, holy shit. Like, yeah. I mean, it just blows my mind sometimes. They're just, and when they try to talk like they know. You guys remember back with Caldwell that gave, like, his gift when he was running for office was giving away bags of rice. Yeah. But not even.
I remember when
rice,
he was
like the shitty rice.
He was physically filling potholes. I remember that.
Oh my God, the camera! It's probably because the cameras are on, and then he did it like maybe one, and then somebody finished it properly for him.
That was his thing. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to go and fill potholes." I was like,
"Oh
all
God!"
Right.
My job was to follow around a politician while she faked a bunch of shit. So believe me, like it probably was just for the cameras. Literally.
She's like, "Are you recording?" Every
yeah. Wait, let me not do this.
Video starts. Yeah.
You know what it's like going to
the
beach cleanups and you're recording someone and then she leaves and everybody's just, we hate you people. That she just came here and picked up one can and left. Like,
she's Amber Hearding it. That's what it's going to be called now. You're gonna pose for the camera and be like,
Oh man.
okay, now do I pick up
Yeah.
the little kid
Hold on.
now? Okay.
Let me get my tissue and hold on. Okay, now.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine if we had an episode where we just trash talk all the politicians?
Oh God. You know how much hell I've been through for like this is I'm not gonna tell you who this when I was working at City Hall, okay? And I pissed somebody off so bad they shut the AC off in my office because we were making fun, and I was surprised that it was so surprising to me that I didn't get like an official notice that I wasn't allowed to make fun of anybody anymore because we were constantly making fun of, and it was walking around back there when you knew that you just put out like something, like we were putting out these you know, fake declarations that were just absurd, and I'd walk around and you'd see people like looking at you, be like, "Oh shit, they know that was me." Like, I just keep my head down and go to my little like hot ass office because they shut my AC off. Like I'm happy. I can talk trash all day, but I've already been through the worst. They've already come at me the worst.
For me, shutting off the AC, I will run through a wall and start fighting people. Because once the AC or even a fan, if the air is not moving, I go nuts. That's why I can't work in offices. I'm like, this is insane. How do you guys... No. I'm not a roach. I'm not a cockroach. I can't just sit here and be like, oh, this is comfortable in this cardboard box. No,
it was effective because I was like, I'm out of here. I'll go sit in my car. It's effective. That building can heat up pretty quickly, so like, ugh, I'm spoiled. Listen, I'm sitting right under an air conditioner right now and I'm still sweating. So yeah.
I have a fan. I have an AC and a fan next to it blowing the air to me.
Me too. Why do you think I'm wearing my headset? I didn't want you to hear all my fucking fans around making sure I'm not sweating up here.
I've given up sound quality for comfort. I'm like, forget it. I know it's an audio podcast that gets released, but they're going to hear a fan because it's too hot. I didn't know this summer is going to be crazy. They said, let's see, Guy Hoggy said it's not going to be as many cyclones or hurricanes.
I feel like then when he said that, we got jinxed. Because how many times did we thought shit was going to happen and then it didn't? And now they're saying it's not going to happen. Oh, man, we're screwed. We're going to get hit hard.
Oh, no. Big Island's going to get it.
Poor Big Island.
But sometimes when it's like real humid, like it's been the past couple of days, I'm like, let's get a little bit of hurricane. Let's get a little bit going. It's like,
you just threw Big Island and Kauai under the bus, man. Oh my God. You just lost all your fan base there. They're like, screw you. You want us to be your human shield?
Oh man. All 4 of them are no longer going to follow me.
Aw.
It'll just happen, so hot. Like I like the humidity is crazy. Like I was saying, it's like my hair is wet. Like even when I went to the fitting, I felt bad. They gave me a shirt to put on. I gave it back. It's not dry anymore. I was like, I apologize.
Good thing you have pants.
Yeah. But it was like, oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I was like, oh yeah. It's like when people say, why are you sweating? I was like, are you kidding me? What do you think? It's
literally Daryl was making fun of me yesterday of that. Like they were standing around. I'm like, they're like, sorry, Dani, we're talking story. We know you want to get back to filming. I'm like, listen, I'm hot as shit. They're like, you're hot? Like, why? Why are you so hot? It's hot flashes? I'm like, it's humid. It's freaking humid.
My sister and my mom can have their door closed and no fan. And I'm like, what is wrong with you guys?
Oh, wow.
How do you guys survive?
Wow.
I will not wake up in the morning.
Are they skinny?
If I was in... They are not.
Oh.
I don't know. My daughter's skinny. She has to have a fan. Maybe that's because of me. She grew up in my room where AC was blowing.
My husband's skinny, so he doesn't retains like his hands are ice cold all the time. Like I'm like popsicle hands all the time.
Oh, that's good. You can cuddle and get nice and you got a cooler.
Yeah, like give me your hand.
Nisha 9 is saying, you guys got more common sense, referring to if comedians got into the government. Like, okay, so let's pick before we sign off. Let's pick out of the comedians. Let's use the ones that are, living or dead, Hawaii only. From governor vice governor.
It's got to be Bulaia. Bulaia's got to be at least governor. I feel like Bulaia governor. No?
I was gonna go with a real one, like somebody who would probably do. Like I think Andy Bumatai would do well. Like, because, well, I know him personally, and he's an intelligent guy, and he has the look of somebody like his hair is nice. But then the lieutenant governor, I think that person can be a little loose cannon, or maybe even Replinger.
Oh yeah.
Oh no. Yeah, see, because Bulaia can be mayor, because then he would be in charge of police. So mayor of Honolulu.
Yeah.
He's like, bro.
Because remember, the lieutenant governor really doesn't do much, so they got to give that job to somebody who you don't have to worry. I mean, we're just being honest.
And he can go out and make social media videos and have a good time.
Yeah.
So Rep could do it. But then everybody would love the lieutenant governor more than the governor, in a way. Because not much pressure put on the lieutenant governor. Like, what? The lieutenant governor got caught with weed?
Who cares?
But if the governor is caught with weed, he's like, oh, that's terrible.
Don't you think I would rather vote for somebody that was honest about that? I was just thinking this the other day. Like, they spend so much time trying to play like they're perfect. I want someone in office who's like, man, I used to do lines of cocaine off a stripper's ass in my day.
That seems to be a go-to.
That guy.
It seems to be like everybody's experience with cocaine involved the stripper's ass. It's like nobody can just do cocaine on the table anymore. It's like lines of cocaine off a stripper's ass. Like, what was wrong with the mirror? It's like,
I was just talking about this to one of the dog bounty hunter people. And I was like, wow, you
Speaking of cocaine.
we did it too. We all did the same. We were at the same club doing the same thing. Who knew?
And I was joking around with a friend who uses that same thing in his joke. It's like, wow, so when they say dollar bills are dirty because of the cocaine, when really it's strippers' asses that are dirty, more dirty than dollars. But a dollar from a stripper's ass might be the most filthy thing in the world.
What I mean, cocaine literally was packed in gas tanks when they smuggle it. So I mean, is the stripper's ass really gonna make it a difference? Probably not.
It's like it's like when you have water and they add the lemon slice. So that's what the stripper's ass is that lemon slice. Just like you're like, hey, this is just water. No, stripper's ass.
It just made this like really toxic ass cocaine, shitty stomped on cocaine better.
But the visual.
So great. Cherry.
So it's funny that you would say that the cocaine being in a gas tank is what makes it dirty.
It makes it smell like, hey, did you have any experience? So I'm talking to someone you may not have had the experience with cocaine, and maybe it was just where I was getting it from. But if you ever did cocaine back in those days and it smelled like literally like gasoline or petroleum, it's because they were transporting it in cars in the gas tanks. So that's why the cocaine would smell. To this day, when I smell certain types of gas, like I'm like, oh, I get that feeling like, oh, I'm getting that like when you're craving a cigarette.
That's so funny because
my jaw starts going like, okay, I think I'm starting to miss those days.
That's funny because are you like, oh, whoa, what is this? Gasoline? How dare you? Go get me some regular cocaine, please. I don't want this gas-smelling cocaine.
Yeah, we didn't
There
really
you
have
go.
a lot
Mike
of
McCarthy says hello. Another comedian in here in Honolulu, actually from Memphis and Boston. An ass is a gas tank, technically. This is true.
Ooh. Wow, that's deep.
So
That's deep.
that's what she said. Hey-o.
How did we get to this topic?
We were talking about mental health. So, as we bring it all the way back around, because mental health, it involves the brain. some people's brains are in their ass. Boom. And there's your moment of zen.
That
So
just blew my mind, man.
that's my job as a
wise.
podcast host. Is to, wrap it all together and then present a nice 8-ball of cocaine on a nice stripper ass.
Wow, an 8-ball.
but it's just funny.
Okay, you went there.
Again, I don't know.
I don't know from experience. I just heard.
Yeah. So
Heard from my friend
allegedly,
Dani.
yeah. Apparently they're pool players, and that's where they get their cocaine from when they break the triangle thing. So, anyways, I want to say thank you so much for being in this episode. I look forward to more
Yeah, we should
episodes
do
with
some
you
more.
in it.
We'll go through our
And
topics.
we have tons of topics. So, and then everybody from the 808 Viral family and followers or friends, fans. You see more questions popping up. Hey, let's get down to it. I think
We'll talk about
talking
anything.
about
We went there today. We will
any-
talk about anything. We're not afraid. So just whatever you want us to
feral
address.
chicken. Yeah. Even we discussed feral chicken. Nobody's talking about pet chicken. Boom. Pet chicken. So we'll discuss pet chicken. We'll discuss like
Politics.
no tourism. Yeah, more politics. So thank you so much, Dani girl. I
Yeah,
appreciate you
thank
being
you.
here. Let me show. Have you ever heard of the chicken attack song?
No.
Okay, so I want to. So because we were talking about feral chicken and chicken, right? Chicken fully. What's it called? No. Oh, Kanaka fully chicken. Yeah, Kanaka fully chicken. So here is this song, but this Japanese song, but it's still good. Hold on. Let's see if it'll play. Add it to the stream. Here we go.
それを返せ。さもないと後悔するぞ。お前一人に一体何ができる？誰が一人だと言った？
I love this song.
You should know that a man with the power of nature can bring you to the end of your life. And you should know by my smile and the look in my eyes that you are about to be massively forced to give up. Chicken attack, chicken attack.
You never heard of this before? I love this thing.
Before it fades to black. Say my love homeless, but then you can on chicken ass. Go chicken go, go chicken go. Now gonna fly, you on the sky. With the power of nature, you are never alone, and you can't live alone, a man. Every beast, every tree follows me to the end, and you are about to be massively fought. Chicken attack, chicken attack. Watch your back before it fades to black. Say my love homeless, but then you can on chicken ass. Go chicken go. Go chicken go. Now gonna fly. You on the sky.
Okay, he goes on to a lot of.
Is this what our city council looked at when they decided that the feral chickens were vicious? 'Cause, I mean,
Maybe.
that's where this came from. I couldn't stop looking at that guy's massive camel toe and those white pants. Oh wow,
Hey,
that was a wardrobe choice.
there can be a video for the commercial for Kanaka Fuli chicken, where we have chicken attack, and we can have
Chicken Kanak
Governor,
attack.
boom! Look at you.
Dude, it's just the flow that just never stops. The ideas never stop.
Oh, and then Lee can be BJ Penn.
Dude, why don't they put us
we're
in
onto
charge of
something.
shit?
I know. Like Nisha
Think
9
the
said,
world
we
would be
make more
better.
sense.
We do.
Right. All right.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you
James.
so much for joining me. I appreciate you and
Yeah,
your
thank
cat
you.
ears. Thank you, everybody that has tuned in. Appreciate it. And go ahead and follow 808 Viral on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Let's build up that TikTok. I'm trying to get that TikTok as well. Follow me at Comedian James Money. And Dani Girl, I don't know if you guys want to find her on Instagram, you can follow her as well.
If you like
I know
cats.
that 808, yes, which I love very much. I never did before till I got some, and it's like, wait, these are actually smarter
bad.
than those dogs. Yeah. But thank you again. Any last words that you want to say before
No,
we
I
sign off?
appreciate you so much. Thank you, James. You're really a wonderful, positive energy. It's why I like you, and I wish nothing but the best for you. And I'm going to help you as much as I can. And you're helping me also. Thank you, because, like I told you before, these lives, things like this, getting on stage, that kind of stuff, I could never do, but I aspire to because of you. So thank you.
Teamwork. All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I'll text you later.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Bye.
Later. Oh, that was Dani, ladies and gentlemen. She'll be on a lot more episodes as we have more recurring guests. We'll discuss a lot more issues. If you have any issues, comment or DM. Let us know how you feel about certain things or what you want us to discuss, and we will do our best to discuss them and entertain. Because at the end of the day, it's all about fun and love. See, I say it's all about one thing, and I just add, it's all about love. But let's have fun while we love. Okay, I just made it weird. I'll see you in the cloud. And peace out.
It's the rhythm in my